Hi, my name is Rishikesh Deshmukh. Today I'm going to read a very interesting paper which studies the effect of native predators on harvest of reindeer by Sami Pastoralist by Hobbs, Hendrick, James Parsons, Marlin Aronson, and Chevron. This paper was published in the journal Ecological Applications in 2012. The Sami people have lived in the landscape of Fennoscandia for at least 5,000 years. Reindeer husbandry is central to their culture and livelihood. During the last two millennia, domesticated reindeer have been used for meat, hides, transportation, milking, and to lure wild reindeer to sites for capture. Today, Sami pastoralists allow their reindeer herds to migrate across large distances unimpeded by fences, gathering them only by a few times a year. The area of land devoted to reindeer husbandry covers approximately half of the area of Sweden. This area also offers vital habitat for Eurasian lynx, wolverine, and brown bear. The main prey for lynx and wolverine is now semi-domestic reindeer, and reindeer husbandry is believed to suffer at least locally from the predation problem. As a consequence, policymakers in Fennoscandia face a problem compromising between competing management goals. Policy on management of large predators in Sweden and Norway is guided by international agreements that simultaneously require sustaining the livelihood of Sami people as well as assuring the viability of populations of large carnivores. In Sweden, the national government compensates reindeer herders for assumed damage caused by predators. The yearly cost of compensation for all predators together was about 6.3 million euros or roughly 8.6 million US dollars in 2009. However, the fairness of this system is controversial. The Swedish scheme for compensation is based on risk of economic loss by herders, and risk in turn is estimated from the number of predators present within a reindeer grazing district. The system is based on assumes one-to-one relation between losses to predators and number of predators. Thus, doubling the number of predators should double the losses of reindeer. The current rate of compensation of the number of reindeer that fall prey to predators are based on rough estimates of consumption rates and conservation values. These estimates, however, are not derived from any comprehensive large-scale analysis of effect of predators on reindeer population dynamics or harvest. Thus, there is a pressing need to understand effects of predators on reindeer to support decisions on compensation for losses to predators. This study analyzes the effect of predation by lynx, wolverine, and brown bear on reindeer harvest. It is focused on two objectives. One, determine do predators have a measurable long-term impact on reindeer harvest, and two, second, evaluate the magnitude of the effect of predators on reindeer population growth related to other resources of variation, including density dependence, latitudinal gradient in climate and resources, and annual variation in weather. The first objective of this study was to estimate long-term effects of predators on the average harvest of reindeer in Sweden. They analyzed the 13-year averages of the number of reindeer harvested in relation to 13-year averages in predator abundance across 15 reindeer management units. This was done using the simple Bayesian model harvest. They like to call it harvest model. In this model, B is a 6-element vector of regression coefficient, sigma is the standard deviation of the estimates on the large scale, and H log scale, and H is 51 element vector of mean harvest average over 13 years. The subscript I indexes reindeer management units from 1 to 51. The H bar I is the 13-year mean harvest for management unit I excluding rare missing values, and Li is the model prediction of the median of the distribution of the average harvest. Independent variables are what 13-year means for total number of reindeer Ri, the number of lynx family groups Li, the number of wolverine reproduction Wi, and the bear indexes. The predictor GI is the latitude at the center of the management unit. The north-south gradient was included as an explanatory variable to account for latitudinal differences in climate and primary production. This gradient was centered on 0 by subtracting the mean latitude from all observations. You might wonder, why do we consider the latitudinal differences? Although it is not discussed in the paper, the latitudinal differences or latitudinal gradients of biodiversity are biogeographic patterns that quantify the ways in which taxonomic, phylogenetic, functional, genetic, or phenetic biodiversity change with latitude position on the surface of the Earth. The model uses log normal likelihood function for the probability of the data conditional on the model parameters because the observation of the harvest were strictly positive and were right skewed. Independent variables were standardized. Prior distribution were chosen to be uninformative. The regression coefficients are interpreted as follows. Because the north-south gradient was centered on 0, the intercept is the offset in production that occurs at the average latitude of the management areas. The coefficient B1 is the number of reindeer harvested per reindeer. The predation coefficient B2, B3, B4 gives the change in average reindeer harvest per unit change in predator abundance. And B5 gives the change in reindeer. harvest per kilometer of latitude along the north-south gradient. When coefficients were standardized, they represent the change in harvest per one standard deviation change in an independent variables. Uh, Posterior distribution of parameters and states were estimated using Markov chain Monte Carlo using RJAX. Four chains were computed for each parameter with initial value chosen to be diffuse related to posterior distributions. To promote convergence, non-standardized observations were centered. After discarding the first 10,000 iterations, at least 25,000 samples were accumulated from each chain. Convergence was assured by visual inspection of trace plots to assure stationarity, and other statistics, diagnostic statistics like Gilman-Rubin and Heidelberger and Wells statistics was also used. Autocorrelation function plots were observed to assure autocorrelation in chains was 0 by lag 10. Model evaluation. For model evaluation, they use posterior predictive checks. The most basic approach to checking the fit of model is to compare replicated data sets with the model that were used to estimate the model's parameter. As we know, posterior predictive checks use a test statistics calculated from the observed data TOBS and from a replicated data set simulated from the posterior predictive distribution TREP. To test for lack of fit, we calculate the Bayesian p-value PB, defined as the probability that simulated data are more extreme than the observed data. The two-tail probability, which means a model shows lack of fit if PB is close to 0 or 1. This is the test statistic used for harvest model, where 51 element vector HRF is drawn from the posterior predictive distribution and other parameters are defined above. Frequency distribution of the observation of average annual harvest and predator abundance were strongly skewed, such that most observations were smaller than the mean, justifying the use of log normal distributions for likelihood, as you can see in the plots. Posterior predictive check showed that the harvest model and the population model, which is not discussed here, were able to simulate data that were consistent with the observation. Posterior predictive checks of the harvest regression model using predator abundance in the left column and the density in the right column for covariates. Test statistics calculated from the observed data plotted against the replicated test statistics calculated from the simulated data bracket align with intercept 0 and slope 1, indicating adequate model fit. The proportion of points above the line gives Bayesian p-value PB. Values of PB near or 1, 0 indicates lack of fit, and as you can see in the plots, both the values are 0.60 and 0.61. Regressions based on predator abundance revealed that the average number of reindeer harvested annually from a management unit was 25% of the average population size. Estimates of regression coefficients, predation coefficients B2, B3, B4 representing the change in the harvest resulting from predation showed that the annual average harvest in a management unit was reduced by almost 1000 reindeer per lynx family group and by almost 100 reindeer per wolverine reproduction. Reindeer harvest was reduced at northern latitudes relative to southern ones by about 2 reindeer per kilometer along the north-south gradient. Estimates of effects of predation based on predator density were consistent with those based on abundance. Comparisons of standardized regression coefficients showed that the variation in reindeer population size had the greatest impact on the reindeer harvest among the variables studied, and that variation in latitude had roughly half the effect of variation in the reindeer numbers. In conclusion, the study provides evidence that native predators reduce harvest of reindeer by Sami pastoralists by reducing reindeer population growth rate. This evidence provides a biological justification for Sweden's risk-based compensation policy. Thanks.